concerns this week involving Russia as Vladimir Putin's military prepares to conduct war games not far from the borders of several U.S. allies. NATO is sending observers in, but some fear that this could be a prelude to an invasion of Europe, specifically Lithuania, Poland, or potentially deeper into Ukraine, similar to what happened in Georgia in 2008 and Ukraine in 2014. It is a charge that the Russians are denying. Mateusz Morawiecki is the Deputy Prime Minister of Poland, and he joins me now. Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, good to have you with us today. Thank you for coming on the story. What's your reaction to that move?
Well, this is a real danger because Russia is aggressive. Russia is at our border. Russia has invaded Ukraine, as Russia has invaded many countries for the last 400 years. So we have to fight hand in hand, arm in arm with American soldiers, or we have to be together. We are very happy that there is this presence of American troops at our in our land. All the way from Kościuszko and Puławski, we have fought together with American soldiers, arm in arm, today in Iraq and in Afghanistan. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure this is the time when we have to be united. We have to be together. And as they said, united we stand, divided we fall. So I do not underestimate what is going to happen in Belarus, this Zapad.
How imminent do you think that push is? And what signs do you see that Vladimir Putin may seriously be considering that this is the right time for him to do that?
Well, our President Lech Kaczynski in 2008 was very vocal about Russia's aggression on Georgia back then, and not too many people believed that he might have been right back then. And he said Ukraine is going to be the next, and Ukraine was next. So today I would not underestimate what is going to happen there. Poland is safe. Poland has a very strong army, but Russia is, of course, an aggressor in many countries, and we have to be very watchful, very vigilant, together, arm in arm with American troops.
You know, President Trump was criticized at one point for not having a clear enough interpretation of Article 5, not speaking clearly enough on it. Do you have any doubt that that the United States would be there for you?
I was so close to this conference when President Trump was saying about this in Poland. I was not reading this in such a way. I think that President Trump was clear enough to give guarantees according to Article 5 from the Treaty of Washington, and also he was very clear in our conversation with our president and when he was in Poland that we are very close in terms of cooperating in the energy sector, in business, and in the military area.
As you know, there's an investigation into whether or not the relationship between anyone in the Trump campaign and Russia was too cozy during the election. You know, so now we have a situation where we're closing and consolidating Russian embassies here in the United States. The San Francisco outpost is being consolidated and taken away. So how do you read the sanctions against Russia? How does that? How do you perceive all that?
I think they are very important, and it is very good that there was enhancing of those sanctions a couple of weeks ago. I think Russia can only succumb. Russia can only make step back if they feel that there is a huge pressure on them. And there is this Nord Stream 2. They try to build another gas pipeline to Germany. And we are trying to be a hub for American gas in Europe. And we spoke about this when President Trump was in Poland. This is the area which is of huge importance for Russia, for Poland, and for America.
Yeah. Two more questions for you on immigration. The EU is putting a lot of pressure on Poland to take in refugees. What will your response be?
Well, our response is that we are already taking hundreds of thousands of refugees, or maybe even more. Maybe not all of them are refugees because there is this war at our border in Ukraine, and 1.5 million Ukrainian people came to Poland. Some of them are, of course, migrant workers, but even if you take that there is a war at 10% or 20% of the territory of Ukraine, so 1/5 of the population who fled to us,
they are refugees. But what about from Africa?
Well, like from Africa, the countries who are close to Africa, they have people from Africa. Countries who are close from the Middle East, Syria, they take people from Syria. And we take people from Ukraine, and many of them are refugees. And also, I think that Poland is safe also thanks to our migration policy. We want to have our borders secure, like the Australian or American policy. And this is why in Poland there was no terrorist attacks. And in many other European countries, there are many terrorist attacks. We treat it very seriously. We want to be a very solid ally of the United States and in NATO, and the migration policy is very important.
Quick question before I let you go. Do you believe that Poland should stay in the EU?
Of course, we are a very solid member state of the EU. We have lots in common with the EU. We were very close with the UK, so we regret that there was the Brexit happened. So we are a good member, and we have many common policies, and we try to enhance freedom to provide services because we believed in free market, Reagan-like deregulation. This is our policy. But we also want to let Poland be Poland, like Reagan said in the 80s. And this is why we have some differences of opinions with some other countries. And if I have 30 seconds, I should have said it in the outside. On behalf of the government of Poland, I would like to express our deepest condolences on this terrible tragedy which happened in the context of Hurricane Harvey.
Thank you very much, Deputy Prime Minister. Very good to have you with us tonight. Thank you.